Hello everyone and welcome back to Alice's Wonderland. Seeing as it's only one video today, it means I actually got to go to school today. And I'm quite tired from it, even though I had a great time. Okay, what we're doing is this time, because we got the alone ending last time. This time, I'm going to go in, and I'm going to agree to go to eat. Strangers in a Strange City. Let me skip ahead since we've already seen this part. Hold on. Didn't realize it was so far away. Should have saved closer to this point. This is when Uniqlo asked us to go eat with her. This time we are going to agree to go with her. Come on. Gosh, I'm serious. I should have saved a little bit closer. Okay, this time we are going to go. Yeah, okay, let's go. I didn't want to be by myself at the moment. Together, Uniqlo and I made our way towards the fast food restaurant by the train station. Come on. I clicked it like twice. Special burger. We sit next to each other at the counter and face the second floor windows. I felt a little hungry, but I didn't really have much of an appetite, so I decided to order a drink instead. Okay, order orange juice or order hot chocolate. I'm gonna go with hot chocolate. After I finished my drink, I was finally beginning to calm down. I considered telling Uniqlo about what happened to me, but when the time came, I didn't know where to begin. Did it actually happen in the first place? Isn't it just too ridiculous, no matter how I explain it? Maybe I just had a weirdly vivid daydream. I started to feel less and less confident. I just remembered, said Uniqlo as she sipped some tomato juice. Isn't your birthday coming up, Erico? Huh? The suddenness of her small talk made me blink. Is there something wrong? Oh, no, nothing wrong. I feel like I haven't had a conversation like this in a long time. Normalcy is amazing. I hope you like your gift. It's extra special this time. You really don't have to go to the trouble. Oh, don't say that. Uniqlo puffed up her pale cheeks. Oh no, I'm sorry. What I meant was we don't really celebrate birthdays at my house. Have I never told you this? Really? Why not? I think it's because my father died. I'm pretty sure it was after my 4th birthday. I was young, so I didn't really have any memories of my father. But strangely enough, I remember clearly he died the night after my birthday. From then on, I don't remember celebrating much of anything, including my birthday. But it's the day you were born, Uniqlo muttered with dissatisfaction. It's enough for me that you even feel that way, Uniqlo. But that was too embarrassing to say out loud. Oh, but you know what? Mr. Tamakaro said we should celebrate it this year. Mr. Tamakaro? Tamakaro? My mom's boyfriend? Did I never tell you about him? Mom is going to marry Mr. Tamakaro. Mora. Mr. T. I'm just calling him Mr. T. I cannot pronounce his name soon. After my dad died, all urge to celebrate vanished from our household. Birthdays and holidays, even Christmas, simply came and went like any other day at the Katasurgi Sagari. It's Japanese names. Residents. But if I get a dad, maybe we'll start celebrating again too. That's a happy thought to have. What kind of person is he? Mr. T? He's a good person. He's pretty quiet. And he's very kind to me, too. Is that so? Then you don't want a present from me? I couldn't help laughing. Every once in a while, Uniqlo gets pouty like a little kid. I want it after it's extra special, isn't it? We looked at each other and laughed. Yep, hope you're excited about it. After she said that, Uniqlo stood up. She looked down at me and grinned. I'll be right back. Restroom? Yep. With nothing to do, I looked out the window at the street across the way by the train station. There were so many different kinds of people. A serious-looking businessman talking into his phone. A girl with perfectly applied makeup. A young man wearing headphones and rocking his body slightly as he rocks. Where did all these people come from? It was so strange that so many people would gather in this one spot for no obvious reason. High school girls carrying crepes in one hand as they walk happily. A brown-haired girl mechanically passing out flyers. And within the crowd, a swaying white figure. Without thinking, I pressed my face against the window. Amid the sea of black and brown heads, 2 long white ears were swaying. The White Rabbit? Oh no, he's leaving! I slid out of my chair with a second thought, then immediately snapped back to reality. Was I about to chase it? Why? I have nothing to do with the White Rabbit. The Cheshire Cat was the one who told me to chase after it. But I have to chase it. Because now, that's all you have left. Huh? That voice again. The one I heard when I encountered that weird man. Whose voice is it? What does that, all you have left, mean? Ugh. I don't understand. At that moment, pain suddenly floated to the right side of my body. As I reeled from the pain, a loud voice pierced through my mind. Let's go. Someone's voice appeared in my head again. I felt it flooded my mind as it prompted me to move. You must chase after it. And reach it. Thanks for waiting, Eriko. I turned around and saw that Uniqlo had returned. Uniqlo! I must have been making a strange face. Uniqlo's eyes were wide with shock. What happened? I'm sorry. I need to go. What? I pressed my hands together in apology and ran down the stairs. Heard Uniqlo's panicked voice call after me from the top of the stairs. Wait, Eriko! Sorry, I'm really sorry. With those words, I left her and ran out of the shop. Because I drank the frickin' hot chocolate. Hot cocoa, I mean. I followed the swaying ears to the crowd. No one seemed to notice the rabbit that was walking on 2 legs and wearing suits. Just as when I encountered him in the classroom, he was transparent. Maybe the other people couldn't see him. I wonder if it's an illusion. I started to doubt myself. Maybe I'm going crazy. But I was definitely able to see them, the swaying white ears. If I catch him, what will I find out? Where will it lead me? I followed the White Rabbit to the back streets of the elevated railroad. At the moment, I realized there was no sign of anyone else. It was just me and the White Rabbit on this dimly lit street. An office building and shops surrounded us, but they all had their shutters down and signs pulled away. There was no sign of activity whatsoever. Like before, the White Rabbit was blurry and transparent. Though his back was facing me, I could see the doll he held in his arms. It was the same doll he was holding when I encountered him in the classroom. No, it's not the same. The doll, it has arms. Though it was just a torso last time, now the doll had arms. Hey. Fearfully, I called out to the white shadow that was moving forward. It didn't react at all. It just swayed and kept walking. There were only a few street lamps, so the street itself was rather dark. Normally, I wouldn't want to walk on such a street, but the light emitting from the white shadow eased my fear of the darkness. Suddenly, the rabbit began to sing. Legs, legs, legs. Where could your legs be? If you don't have your legs, you can't walk with me. As he sang, the White Rabbit drifted into a nearby building. I stopped and looked up at the building. It was a tall, skinny structure with 4 floors. It looked abandoned and rather filthy. Is this it? Maybe there was a fire. For a moment I wavered, then I stepped inside the dim building to chase the rabbit. I came across a small elevator. When I tried pressing the button, there was no response. I whipped the black soot stuck to my finger onto my apron. I climbed a dark, narrow staircase. Everything was covered in soot. There must have been a fire here. That must be why this building is abandoned. The soles of my shoes scraped against the sand and garbage piled on the stairs. A pile of junk blocked the door to the 2nd floor. It didn't look like I could get past it. I gave up at that door and continued on to the 3rd floor. The door to the 3rd floor opened easily enough. On the other side of the door stretched a narrow hallway. Both sides of the hallway had 2 frosted glass doors each. Inside felt cold and run down. Everything was covered in soot here too, but compared to the staircase, it was much cleaner. The fluorescent lights on the ceiling flickered, so electricity is still running even though the elevator didn't work. There was no sign of the White Rabbit. To my right, a dim light shined through the frosted glass door before me. Someone in there? The White Rabbit? I hesitated for a moment, then knocked on the door. Yes. I jumped and trembled at the unexpected reply. As I watched over, the knob turned and the door opened just a crack. Welcome. Through the crack, I could see a smiling man. Excuse me. Okay, so I knocked on the door, but now what should I say? If the man was bothered by my silence, he didn't show it. Instead, he just opened the door all the way. Please, come in. I accepted his hospitality and stepped into the room. The ceiling walls of the dreary room were made of concrete. It only had one window, too. A stuffy scent lingered as if the room had been closed up for a long time. But there was no trash or dust in sight. It almost seemed like the room had been recently swept, though it wasn't completely clean either. A dining table and 2 chairs placed on opposite ends of each other were in the otherwise empty room. A white tablecloth and lit candles decorated the table. That was the only furniture. There were no lights on. The dim light that I could see from outside must have come from the candles. A silver fork and spoon were placed in front of one of the seats. The table seemed set for a meal to be served, but the ambience in the room felt brusque and uninviting. Please have a seat. Like a server in a restaurant, the man pulled the chair and gestured for me to sit. He was a very skinny person. His shoulders were narrow and his face was long. His arms and legs seemed strangely spindly. Please. When I am hesitating to sit, the man repeated, grinning. He had been smiling for a while at this point. His expression hadn't changed at all, almost like his face was a mask. Somehow his smile seemed different from the Cheshire Cat's. Please. Though his demeanor was polite enough, the tone of voice suggested that he would not take no for an answer. Fearfully, I lowered myself into the seat. He finished seating me, then left the room with an elegant flourish. Excuse me. I thought he had gone outside, but I could hear the clinking sound of dishes being handled coming from the back. I was hesitant to stand for all kinds of reasons, so I sat and waited for the man. Eventually, he came back. He held a covered plate in his right hand and a basket covered with cloth in his left hand. Standing behind me, the man placed both objects in front of me. Who are you? The man did not answer. Silently, he went around the table and set himself across from me. We looked directly at each other. That's not a smile. The edges of his thin lips were curled to give the appearance of smiling, but his eyes were cold and joyless. Something about this person seemed reptilian. His skin is probably cold to the touch, I thought to myself. Would you like some stew? Please help yourself to some bread, said the man. I'm looking for the right rabbit. Did he come this way? Would you like some stew? Please help yourself to some bread, the man repeated. His hair, which I thought was black, glowed green in the light of the candle. I don't want any, so would you like some stew? Please help yourself some bread. I glanced at the plate in the basket. Would you like some stew? Please help yourself to some bread. The skinny man's eyes narrowed as he repeated himself again. Let's reach for the bread. I reached for the bread basket. I pulled away the right cloth from the top of the basket and saw several rolls of bread inside. Cherry blossom apan, poppy seed apan, sesame seed apan. The basket was filled with apans for some reason. A few white bread rolls were mixed in with them. At the very bottom of the basket, as if squashed by little pieces of bread, there was a moldy white bread roll. Mold? As if compelled by it, I picked up the bread roll and tore off a piece. Red jam dripped out of it. It's strawberry jam bread. I put the piece of bread in my mouth without a second thought. Though it was moldy, it didn't taste bad at all. On the contrary, it was sweet and melted in my mouth like soft snow. I continued tearing off pieces and eating them. A sudden wave of sleepiness hit me, but I still couldn't stop eating the bread. The skinny man's slippery face continued to watch me in silence. My head feels heavy. It's so heavy I can't keep it up. Quietly, the man took away the bread that was in front of me. After eating the last piece, I couldn't help myself and fell face first on the table. So the bread was a bad idea. Where's the right rabbit? Where did the Cheshire Cat go? Why am I chasing after the right rabbit? What's going to happen to me? The question swirled incoherently in my mind, and as it weighed down, I fell to sleep. I'm going to get ate. The bread was a bad idea. Barking. The barking of a small toy dog. The barking of a small bark dog. Crashing sound. Someone had thrown the toy dog at the wall. It bounced off the wall, rolled on the ground, and a person carelessly picked it up after the toy dog slammed into the wall again. Over and over, the toy dog hit the wall and bounced back. Each time it got a little more broken. Why? The person cried. They kept crying and throwing the toy dog. The toy dog kept breaking into pieces. Its front legs broke off. Its black plastic eyes spun through the air. The dog kept getting thrown against the wall, its red blood spreading further and further. Blood? The arms broke off. The legs shattered. The head fell off and rolled onto the ground. It was me. It wasn't a toy dog. It was me as a child. Why? The person kept crying and throwing me against the wall. As my head rolled onto the ground, it whispered softly, I'm sorry. Oh my frickin' God. Okay. I did not expect that. When I finally opened my eyes, the first thing I saw was a white tablecloth. That's right. I fell asleep. The skinny man was no longer seated across from me. The stew plate, the bread basket, and the candles on the table had all vanished. With the candles gone, the room had become dark. Light from the street lamps outside came through the only window and faintly lit the room. At what point did I start dreaming? I don't really know. I blinked my eyes repeatedly. With each blink, a tear fell down my cheeks until I finally noticed I was crying. I wiped my cheeks with the back of my hands. How childish, crying because of a dream. The heaviness in my head was gone. How long was I asleep? Right when I was about to stand up, an unexpected sound reached my ears. Come on, go. Thud. Thud. I froze. It was the sound of footsteps going up the stairs. Who is that? The building is abandoned. Thud. Thud. Oh no, what if it's some creep? I looked around the room in a panic. Should I hide? But there's nowhere to hide. After a moment's hesitation, I quickly ran to the door as quickly as I could. Thankfully, the door had a lock. I pitched the lock carefully and clicked it into place. It was louder than I expected, and I felt a sudden twinge of fear. Thud. Thud. The footsteps grew louder. Thud. Thud. Pressed against the door, I held my breath. The doorknob turned roughly. My heart felt like it was going to beat out of my chest. I was too scared to even breathe. The square glass fitted into the upper half of the door had cracked, leaving a small gap. I could sense someone peeking into the room through the gap. But it was completely dark, so there was no way they could see me. Even so, my body shifted up. There was someone on the other side of the door. That I could even hear their breathing. Finally, I heard the footsteps walking away from the door. Then I heard the sound of a doorknob being turned again. They must be checking the other rooms. Carefully peeked out the crack in the glass. The fluorescent lights in the hallway allowed me to see who the person was. It's the man who was chasing me in front of the hotel. Did he follow me? That's impossible, but it seemed that the doors to the other rooms wouldn't open. The man came back up the hallway. He appeared to have given up. I quickly ducked my head. Eventually, the footsteps trailed off. I went to the window and looked down at the street. The man was walking away, his shoulders hunched. Who could he be? Why is he following me? I felt my tension relax, only to be suddenly greeted by a familiar smell. It smells like something is burning. It can't be. I ran out of the room. When I entered the hallway, I was surrounded by a sea of fire. No way. How? It was fine just a moment ago. There's nothing combustible here. Concrete was burning as though it was made of wood. So hot. Searing heat hit my body, and I raised my arms to cover my face. The fire had consumed half of the hallway. The staircase I used to come up was covered in flames. What should I do? Is there another exit? At that moment, I saw something moving in the fire. Within the fire, a woman whose face was wrapped in bandages stared intensely at me. It was the same woman I had met in the dark passageway in the hotel. The fire was burning the woman's hair and clothes. The bandages, however, didn't burn and remained wrapped around her face. A terrible scent of burning flesh filled the air. Slowly, the woman stepped forward. I took a step back. Still in the fire, the woman slowly extended her left hand and beckoned to me. Feelings of hatred joined the heat enwrapping around me. No! I turned around and ran. I didn't have to look back to know that the woman and the fire were following me. If I stopped even for a second, the fire would consume me. I desperately kept running forward. No, I hate fire. At the end of the hall, I saw a small, narrow staircase to the left. Above it was a green, dimly lit exit sign. Fire escape. I frantically ran. Oh God, up the stairs, down the stairs. We're gonna go down the stairs. Frankly ran down the stairs. The first floor was already covered in fire. I continued down the stairs leading below. What other choice did I have? With the fire at my back, I ran to the basement. Ran down to the basement. The basement was an empty storage room. Even though there was nothing flammable nearby, the fire tore the door and began surging down the stairs. There was nowhere to escape. The sea of flames instantly engulfed me. My hands, feet, and hair ignited in a flash. Yeah, I think I chose bad choice. So hot. I waved my arms in a desperate attempt to shake off the fire. It's burning before my eyes. I can smell my own flesh burning. I suddenly remembered a description of HELO I saw in a world history restaurant book. The cinders ran about, burned by the fires. Yeah. Am I being burned like that? As I withered in pain, I heard a cool voice in the back of my mind. Yes, dance madly. Endure the burden. The unforgivable crime for which there is no penance. The crap. Suddenly my vision went black. I stopped dancing and the heat disappeared as it melted away. The delicate hands covering my eyes were moved, revealing the empty storage room. There was no sign there was a fire had burned here at all. When I slowly turned around, I was greeted by a familiar grinning face. Cheshire Cat! But the fire... Cheshire smiled but did not answer. Instead, he took my hand. Fire is bad. It was very bad. I held the Cheshire Cat's hand tightly and let out a deep sigh. The Cheshire Cat's lukewarm hand seemed to suddenly heat up. As if responding to the change in temperature, my heart rate slowed down. This sensation again. This has happened before. The question I wanted to ask was on the tip of my tongue, but when I saw the Cheshire Cat's face... He's holding his face with his free hand. What's wrong? Ugh. The Cheshire Cat moaned softly. Eventually, the Cheshire Cat slowly moved his hand. His usual smile peeked out faintly from underneath his hood. Is there something wrong? Do you feel sick? I was worried. Up until this point, the Cheshire Cat had never behaved this way. The Cheshire Cat would always smile no matter what happened. I thought that was normal, so... Hey, are you okay? It's nothing, Alice. But... The Cheshire Cat squeezed my hand tightly, as if to insist that I stop arguing. Alice, it's nothing. Said in easy and understandable tones, I felt particularly persuaded. That's right. If the Cheshire Cat says it's nothing, it must be nothing. So there's nothing for me to worry about. Let's hurry and leave. I don't like it here. I pulled the Cheshire Cat's hand and headed towards the staircase leading from the basement. Yes, if we don't hurry, we'll be late to the tea party. The Cheshire Cat said leisurely. We'll be late to what? I looked back at the cat. The tea party. Tea party? I stared back at his suspicious smile, then I inclined my head. And with that, we're going to stop because I'm seriously really tired right now. So please leave a like if you liked, comment if you wish, and so for more next time we're doing chapter 4, Midnight Tea Party. I'm out, people. Bye.